All right, well, we have some really great things in store for you all today and some really cool guests. In light of the recent women's rights marches and the sudden mention of time travel, we have on our show today, visiting with us, President Woodrow Wilson. Yeah, I know. And nasty woman Susan B. Anthony. That guy's excited. All right, well, let's get right into the movement of the women's suffrage movement in 1910s. Please, everybody help me welcome our first guest, President Woodrow Wilson.
Hello?
Hi, yeah, right here. Sit on down. How's it going? How are you?
How am I?
Yeah, what's the haps? What's been going on?
How did I get here?
Anyway, you have become one of the most influential political leaders of the women's suffrage movement. And, I just want to pick your brain about women voting and having basic human rights.
Women's rights, I don't wish to speak on such a subject.
The women fought in the war.
Well, yes. I remember changing my mind when I was in office. All have a right to a voice in the government under which we live. When men and women are equally admitted to those rights, we have the best safeguard of justice and of peace that the world affords. There is no other safeguard.
That's interesting. Why did you change your mind after you were elected into office in 1913? Weren't you seen as kind of being lukewarm on the issue?
Oh, well, possibly. But I feel that all that matters is what I think now, and I feel women should have the right to vote.
Well, we do. But what I really wanted to talk to you about is women's liberation in today's time. Even though we have the right to vote, there's so much more to fight for. The way women are treated in today's society really needs to change. And there's actually been a series of women's marches recently. Does this surprise you?
Well, yes, actually. After women got the right to vote, what else is there for y'all?
So much more about women having the right to vote. These women deserve basic fundamental rights, equal pay, that sort of thing.
Yes, I see.
Yeah, so it's all right. Well, just tell me more about passing the amendment.
Well, the first time the bill was tried to get passed was in 1915. However, it did not reach the 2/3 it needed to pass. In 1917, a bunch of protesters and picketeers pestered me into changing my lukewarm stance. All those women's suffrage groups, the NASA and the NWP and the WPC, I couldn't keep count. The bill was brought back to the House again, and this time was passed with one more than 2/3.
Wow, so this has been one hell of a fight for us.
I would assume so, yeah.
Well, that's about all the time we have for our first guest today, Woodrow Wilson. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Well, after our short commercial break, we will have our second guest of the evening, Susan B. Anthony. Welcome back, everybody. Please help me welcome our second guest of the evening, nasty woman Susan B. Anthony. Hi. Well, I know this is a lot to take in, but I have so many questions for you. You've become one of the most notable names surrounding the women's suffrage movement, and I'm really curious to know how you overcame voting restrictions.
Yes. Well, I was fined and arrested for casting an illegal vote back in 1872. I refused to pay it, of course.
No surprise there. Well, tell me more about your speeches. What were they like, and what did you say?
Well, yes, I simply just stated the obvious, that our own American Constitution says we the people, not we the white male citizen. This means by any person, the only question to be asked is, are women persons? And I hardly believe that any of our opponents will have the hardihood to say that they are not. Being person, then, women are citizens. And no state has any right to make any law or to enforce any old law that shall abridge their privileges or immunities. Hence, every discrimination against women in their constitutions and laws of the several states is today null and void.
You know, I tried mentioning this to Wilson, but you know how wishy-washy he is on the subject. Even though you fought for Woodham's sympathy, you're still facing troubles today. Does this sadden you?
Well, I can't say that I'm surprised. I hope that women would be seen as complete and equal today, but that is wishful thinking. The world will always tell women that they are on the bottom, but I just hope women today are now paving the way for the future.
Yeah, I mean, a lot has changed in the future, and women are finally starting to find their voice, and we will not be silenced. I actually have put together a clip from the recent women's marches to show you a little bit of how it's changed. Alrighty, let's give it up one more time for our guests this evening, President Woodrow Wilson and Susan B. Anthony. Tune in next week when I have special guest Walmart Yodeling Boy and musical guest Cardi B.